Are you looking for a spring craft to do this year? I know I am. Winter is hitting us strong. Today I'm going to share with you a primitive rabbit. Hit the show more button below this video for the pattern. And if you're on your iPhone, hit that little V. Step 1. Trace all your patterns. The rabbit, the carrot, and the heart. In the heart on the pattern, make a hole like this. Make a hole and then use your scissors and make it larger. Step 2, place 2 pieces of fabric right sides together, 4.5 by 5.5. Step 3, using a mark be gone, trace the pattern on the wrong side all the way around. Make sure the heart on the pattern is on the left side. Step 4, make a dot in the center of the heart. Push it so that it bleeds through the next side. There it is. You need that for registration. Step 5, using your heart pattern, trace it on a piece of contrasting fabric, or you can use the same. Use a mark be gone, and you can either eyeball it or use your original pattern with the hole in it to find the center, but you need to mark the center in the middle of the heart in order to line them up to the rabbit pattern. Step 6, for the cutaway heart, like this one, you will take your traced heart on the outside, the left side, find that dot and match it up to that dot like that and pin it. So all the way around with very small stitches. I'm going to use a light colored thread so it pops, or you can use the same color. And even though this may seem obvious, sometimes we forget. Don't go and sew this with the 2 pieces closed. You need to open it up and sew on this. Ask me how I know. So open it up and sew really small stitches on that heart. So this is what it will look like. When you turn this inside out, this will be the front. This is where we remove as much as fabric as we can. I like to do it now. You can do it after you sew the whole thing together, but if you cut through both layers, then your piece could be ruined, in my opinion. I like to do this now with offset scissors or embroidery scissors. These are excellent for this. Now we're working on the inside. Don't get confused and start cutting this. This would be wrong. This is your outside. So we open it up. What I like to do is use my poking tool to poke a hole. Make sure it's not coming through the other side. And that just gets me started. And then I just start cutting as close to that line as possible. And I'll roughly cut it the first time and then go back and clean it up. And you don't cut through that side. And you just keep cleaning it up. To save your time, I will cut very close to the sewn line and then I'll be right back. I get as close as possible as I can. I like using my pointer and I pick at it until a lot of the threads get loose, and then when they stick up, you can trim them even more. This will come off with water, and sometimes it looks good all raggedy, and that's how you do the cutaway heart. Step 7, for the applique heart that's sewn on the outside, take your pattern. This is the wrong side. Open it up, flip it over, and on the right side, place your heart. Make sure the dots line up. Same thing, sew right on the line, but we're not going to be cutting this away. You can either use the same color thread or a thread that's contrasting to the heart. And I'm going to use a contrasting thread so it makes it pop. And again, make sure it's open, and this will be on the inside. For this heart, we will be cutting away on the outside, not the inside like the cutaway heart. Once we sew this, we're going to come back and trim as close as we can to the outside and get rid of all this extra fabric. For the applique heart that we just sewn on, I'm going to use my embroidery scissors and I'm going to trim as close as I can to the outside of that heart. And again, I like to use my pointer and pick at this, and it makes it fray. And then the real long ones you can cut off. The blue will come off with water. I do that when I'm all done with the project. And when you get done, it will look like this. I like it to look frayed. It makes it look more primitive. Step 8, sew all the way around the rabbit and either reverse or go over and lock your stitches, one continuous all the way around. This is the applique bunny. This is the cutaway heart bunny. And use very tiny stitches and take your time when you get to the corners. You can widen this a little bit more, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I like my ears to always be different. Step 9, after you sew all the way around, cut a 1/4 inch, make a snip right here and right here and right here. This will relieve some of the stress when we turn it inside out. Step 10, turn the rabbit over, and you can draw a line about 1.5 inches with your mark be gone. Cut a slit, turn the rabbit inside out. Your hemostats come in real handy. Go up to the top where the ear is, pinch it, and pull it through that slit. And you can also put your hemostats up through the bottom, come out to the top, and start pushing that out slowly. This is what it looks like all turned out. Step 11, it is best to use your hemostats and stuff with stuffing, cotton, whatever you like to put in there. I use 100% cotton. It's best to use little pieces at a time and do it as firm as you like. I will go ahead and stuff this rabbit, and then we'll be back for step 12, which we're going to sew the slit closed. You may choose to do your stenciling or your letter writing before you stuff it. I never do. I wait until it's stuffed. While it's flat, you may choose to go ahead and stencil. This I cut with my Cricut, and I just use acrylic paint and a stencil brush, and I dry brush it on after it's stuffed, like this one. This was done after, but you can do it now. And if you don't have a stencil, you can go ahead and write it with a gel pen, and you can do that now or after it's stuffed, because stenciling the date or word is step 16. But if you want to, you can just go ahead and choose to do it now. Then you won't stencil it until after all the paint stain or grunge is dry. This is a natural chocolate bunny that's not going to get any stain or grunge, so I technically could go ahead and stencil it now or after it's stuffed. But just remember, you want to do it only if it's not going to get grunged or stained or painted. If it is, then you need to wait until step 16. Step 12, I'm going to sew the slit closed using a pretty heavy carpet thread matching the same color. I put a knot in the end, and I'm just going to whip it closed and push your batting and cotton down in there and just round and around and whip it. Get little tight stitches and pull tight. And when that gets done, I'll be back. Step 13, we're going to sew or embroider the face, which includes the nose. I like to hold the pattern up and take my mark be gone and just roughly mark where the eyes and nose are going to go. I usually put the eyes in the middle of the ear, and then I come down and I like to draw the line, and that helps me keep my line straight when I do the nose. To sew the nose, you can either come in through the back or further away from the side, because we're going to hide that knot. Pull it till you hear it pop. There we go. And if any of the cotton comes out, you can just take a pointer and push it back in. Now you're going to go in where you almost just came out. We're going to go under the line and grab some of the cotton, and we're going to pull it up. And I like to use my hemostats to pinch the lines. You can pinch it with your fingers, but I like to use that, and I give it a good pinch. And that really helps me when I go to sew the nose. So we're going to go right next, about where we just came out, really close. Grab some of that cotton, bring it up to the surface underneath, go in the next line, give it a tug, take your pointer and shove the cotton right back in. There you go. And you're going to do that all the way down. You're going to go very close where you just came out, pick up some cotton, and come out next to the other one that you previously just did. And you can even use your needle to push that through. I like to keep pinching it. I'm going to do that all the way down to here. Then I'm going to take the hemostats and pinch here. Same thing over there. And then when I get down here, I'm going to go under, and I'm going to come out here and go like this after I've already done all this. So I sewn to here, and then I pinched here. I made a nice line, and I did the same thing here. And now I'm going to continue to sew back and forth under the line. Now this is done and this is done, I need to do this line. So I'm going to come underneath, and there, the thread's underneath, you don't even see it. Then I'm going to go right up here and finish that side. And to finish off, I'm going to tie a knot close as I can get it. Then I'm going to put it through here and come out far away and pop that knot underneath. And there. Pull on the thread really taut and cut close, and it will go underneath and you won't even see it. Step 14, paint or stain or grunge the rabbit. I am not going to do that in that video. If you want to know how to grunge, look up there. I have a full tutorial on how to grunge, and if you decide to do a rabbit that's a lighter color and you want to grunge, I will show you at the end of the video 1 or 2 rabbits that I've done that was very light linen, and I painted and grunged them. Step 15, you'll have to decide if you're going to do glass beads or embroidery floss about from here to here with the light colored, and then you just do one time going through the middle and it makes it look like eyes. For this tutorial, I am going to do the glass beads, and make sure your needle fits through the hole in the bead before you start. So I don't even like to put the bead on. I go through the back, come out where my dot is. This is carpet thread. You pull it and then you hide the knot. I use the needle to pick up the bead. Then I'm going to go down almost where I came in. I'm going to go across to where the other dot is. Pick up the other bead. I'm going to go down where I almost just came in. I'm going to go across and I'm going to go back in this other bead. Just like that. I'm going to do this several times. I'm going to go down. Now if you can't get up through that hole, that's okay. Go under it. Just go down through the top on it and come back over and do the other one. If you don't want to take the time and try to get it matching up through that hole, that's all right. Come underneath it. Give a little tug, make them kind of tight. Then you're going to knot it close to the glass bead and pull it through the back again, and it will sink that knot. There you go, popped right through. Pull this tight, cut, and you don't even see it. And what's great, you can wiggle them around so they look symmetrical. Step 16, stencil numbers or a word or handwrite something on that we discussed earlier. Step 17, you can sew or glue cotton. If you don't have natural cotton like I get, you can use a cotton ball. I would stain it maybe with a little bit of watered down coffee or tea. You don't want a bright white tail. At least I don't think I would. And I just pull off a piece and I figure out where it's gonna go. Now some of these you might not want to put a tail on, or you might want the tail to come down like this if it's going on a wall pouch or a wall board. I'll show you that at the end of the video. This one I'm just gonna go ahead and glue right on that line, and his tail is done. How cute. Step 18, time to do the whiskers. Obviously, if you didn't do a nose on one, like this one, you don't have to do whiskers. I am using this thermally bonded weaving thread, white. I have an 18-inch piece. I folded it in half, and about halfway I'm gonna tie a knot. Then I'm gonna come through here. And then this one, I'm going to tie a knot, trying to get it close to that nose as possible. There we go. And trim them to size. And there you have a knot on this side and a knot on that side. You can have them short, semi-long, really long. You can make them look scraggly. That's up to you, but I think they look cute. Step 19, you can wrap a wire. This is actually linen from my thrum, from leftover weaving. You can use jute, a wire, any type of string. And I just had a whole bunch of these metal name tag. I just used that. And in the back, I just tacked it with a little thread. It would hold it down like that. I didn't put a tail on this because I'm going to be putting this probably in a pouch. I'm not sure yet. But you don't have to add any type of embellishment. It looks cute just the way it is. Step 20, trace, sew, and stuff the carrots exactly as you did for the rabbit, the directions above. I decided I did not want to turn mine inside out. I like the little roughness of the fabric when I sewed on the line, and I cut a 1/4 inch away, but I didn't turn it inside out. Paint or grunge the carrots to your liking and dry them. Step 21. I painted them orange, and this is the cinnamon grunge that's in that video that I listed before. Then I dried them in my dehydrator. I left a little bit on top opened. This is from an old plant that I had that was in the window, and I just snipped off a piece. This one is from dried rosemary. You can use sweet Annie, whatever. I have a lot of dried rosemary, and I just left a little hole on the top, and you just put it in there. Same thing with this. Now you can hot glue this in. I just haven't done that. But for this one, after it dried, I just used a magic marker and I drew the little lines on it. This one I hand stitched, and I only did a few because, as I show you in the end of the video, the pouch comes up to here and you don't see the rest of that one. Same thing with this one. This one I chose to use the dark side, and this one I used the light side. And here's one that I painted black, and I put it on a very old barn board with some rope, and I hung it on my door, and I filled it with sweet Annie. And this was from a shirt, a linen shirt, and these were little tack nails. And this is what I was talking about. I had the tail come down a little bit. And the barn board, about in late 1800s, my husband tore down about 1.5 years ago, and it was left over. It's a different thickness, but I just liked it. And I made the pouch and put him on there. And this one I have outside of my shower. It's another barn board with sweet Annie and the carrot. And this one I walnut hull dyed, and I walnut hull dyed the sack that I made, and I stenciled the writing on it from the Cricut. And this one I put in the pouch. He doesn't even have a tail. And I walnut hull dyed and grunged the rabbit, and I put some dried sweet Annie and rosemary in there, and I stenciled this. This came from an AccuQuilt, and that's another linen pouch. Actually, this was made from a linen tablecloth that I think I got for 30 cents at the thrift store, and I left the hem right on it. And for time constraints, to get this video out, these are a couple of the rabbits that are finished. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with them. If you like this video, please share, give a thumbs up. Most important, give a comment, hit that bell, all notification when you subscribe. And this is Jersey saying see you on the next video.